Yeah.
Educated mess. One of my favorite product types is a Milky Essence because I love the lightweight hydration and how easy they are to layer. So, welcome to the lab. I'm Alex Paget. I'm a co-founder of Educated Mess and a cosmetic chemist. And today we have a very special guest with us. Michael, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm a licensed esthetician that is working in Florida and also a housewife. I moved here 3 years ago from Dominican Republic. In Dominican Republic, I had a degree in Bachelor of Economics, but here in Florida, I became a licensed esthetician. I became a licensed esthetician because I wanted to learn more in skincare.
So today we're actually going to be making a hydrating Milky Essence, but we also put some ingredients in there for antioxidant protection that can help brighten up the skin. We're using some of my favorites, hexylresorcinol and a fermented resveratrol. And then we're also going to incorporate some ceramides and squalane and things just to provide some intense barrier nourishment. I think Milky toners might be one of my favorite steps of a skincare routine.
Same, I love Milky toners. It's just an amazing step to add all this goodies into your skin without adding the greasing and heaviness. Yeah. That's why I love it.
I think they're great for year-round too because I have dry skin, but I am acne prone as well. So I just like them because they're so lightweight and you can get that barrier nourishment without it feeling heavy on your skin. You can layer it so well with other products. And they also often feel very refreshing to apply.
Oh yeah, they feel really refreshing.
Okay. So as is the case with most skincare products, we're gonna start with water.
Very lightweight, so I gotta be.
And we're also heating this, so we may have a little water loss. If you go slightly over, it's not a huge deal.
This is the thing about me measuring products. It takes forever because I'm very delicate. Oh, that's perfect. I'm a full cosmetic chemist.
Look at you. Let's go. So now we're gonna add preservatives because we do not want our products to grow mold, mildew, or yeast.
Yeah, we don't need that, that's for sure. All these brands making paraben-free products.
Like,
for
no.
what? You wanna apply mold in your skin? Oh, that's perfect.
You're even closer than me on that one too.
Oh my God, girl.
Let's get you on payroll.
I'm taking your job. Hi, I'm the new co-founder of Educated Mess.
We're also going to add disodium EDTA. This is a chelating agent, meaning it can kind of bind to metals. It's used in a lot of cosmetic products to preserve them over time. I like adding chelating agents to a formula anyway at a very low level because that can help with the preservation. But specifically with hexylresorcinol, because it's a phenolic compound, it'll start experiencing discoloration more rapidly if there's any copper or iron present at all. So now to the water phase, we're also going to add a couple of hydrating barrier ingredients, allantoin and panthenol.
Love that.
Do you like those? Yeah.
Everything that hydrate, repair my skin barrier, yes.
So now we're going to add hyaluronic acid because first of all, it's great for hydration. It kind of forms a superficial layer on skin to help trap water in. But I also love the texture that hyaluronic acid gives a product because it gives it that like slick, silky, like just wet when you apply it texture. So we're gonna use a low level of this because it does thicken a formula and we're doing like a very thin milky essence. So we're gonna add just a little bit of hyaluronic acid, but hyaluronic acid takes a really long time to hydrate in water. So we're gonna just pre-hydrate it with glycerin first. We're getting some hydration from glycerin and it's making the hyaluronic acid go into the formula a little easier. We're gonna make like this slurry.
Oh,
so
this is what is gonna give the slimy part, right?
Yeah, so if we had added more hyaluronic acid, it would get a little stringier.
Wow, girl, you're really smart.
I learned from some really, really great chemists. We're gonna put this into the water phase like this.
Oh, wow, look at that, darling. This essence is looking so cool.
I know, already. Because we're adding an oil phase, we need to melt the emulsifiers and waxes. Everything needs to get heated up to like 75 to 80 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
So we're gonna go ahead and start heating our water phase. When I'm working on a formula that requires a lot of heat, like with an oil phase, you have to melt and all of that, I usually will cover the beaker with tinfoil just to help prevent some water loss if it does start to evaporate.
Yeah.
So just take a square like this, rip it right here, and then when you put it, it just kind of goes like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and tight.
That's right. The reason Milky toners are not transparent is because they're typically a combination of oil and water phases that don't typically mix. And then you get those two phases to go together with an emulsifier or a surfactant.
I didn't know that. That's why they are not transparent.
Yeah, so when you have a water phase and an oil phase, an oil is by nature going to have its own refractive index that basically is where light passes through, and water is the same way, but the refractive indices of those two are different. So when you combine them in a stable mixture, light can't pass through. That's why they become milky.
Oh.
So you take like a hydrating toner essence that's water soluble and clear, and then when you add the oil phase to it, that's when it's going to turn white and become milky.
We're learning something today.
That's right, and
I didn't know that.
That's why they can feel a lot more nourishing than just like a typical hydrating toner or essence, because you're getting that barrier nourishment from the oil-soluble compounds in the formula. Now we're gonna add our oil phase. We're gonna add squalene first. This is a skin-similar lipid. It's very similar to squalene, which our skin naturally produces. It's great for moisturizing barrier nourishment.
Oh, that's how squalene looks like.
Yes.
Squalene is also really good for your skin barrier.
Right.
So adding it to our ingredient can make our skin barrier so much easier to repair.
Right. Yes, squalene is very similar to squalene, which we naturally produce.
Okay.
So squalene has a double bond that's oxidizable, and what's interesting is that the way a blackhead forms is when oil gets trapped in your pores and then it starts to oxidize. That's when it turns to that darker color. So any double bonds and certain oils, natural oils and stuff, that is a site of susceptibility to oxidation. Of course, we typically add antioxidants to a formula like tocopherol anyway to help reduce the likelihood of that happening. But I like squalane over squalene because it's a little lighter, and I feel like squalane and certain silicones, because they don't contain oxidizable double bonds, I just feel like they're less likely to contribute to texture.
Wow, okay.
We're also going to add isosorbide dicaprolate. This is an oil-soluble ingredient that's actually good for water hydration and skin. So it has some activity on the aquaporins in skin. It helps with the way that water circulates throughout skin. It's really cool. So because oil and water don't typically mix, we're gonna have to use an emulsifier. This is actually an emulsifier I have never used before. The supplier sent it to me because I told her I was making a milky essence, but we wanted it very thin. For any chemists out there, it's called Emulsium Dulcea MB. It's from Gat Passe. So I'm really excited to use it. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. I've never played with it before.
Great time with my product. We are experimenting on new thing.
But what's interesting about this one specifically is the supplier has clinical data on the ability of this emulsifier itself to also provide hydrating benefits to skin. I'd say most emulsifiers are probably going to provide some nourishment, but they did some cool studies on it. A lot of times these specialty emulsifiers may require homogenization, so we are going to move the batch to the homogenizer. This one's not nearly as powerful as the one I'm used to, so I'm hoping this is going to be okay. It is a thin fluid one, so I think we'll be fine. But just as a safeguard, I'm also adding my favorite emulsifier at a very low level. It is a classic. Every chemist has used it. It's glycerol stearate and PEG 100 stearate. It's so good at stabilizing an emulsion. So I kind of wanted to put this in there as a backup plan in case that
something doesn't mix well.
In case the homogenizer doesn't get enough energy into the system for the Emulsia Dulcea. The problem with a lot of these glycerol stearate or stearic acid, certain times, they can almost give like a soapy look when you rub out an emulsion, where it kind of looks white before it soaks into skin. But a really good way to combat that is with silicones. So we are also gonna add to our oil phase some dimethicone. But dimethicone can come in a fairly thick consistency, or it can go really lightweight, and it's all dimethicone.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So we're gonna use the fluid dimethicone since we're doing a milky essence. Aside from helping reduce the potential soapiness of the stearate, it also is going to give a really nice light texture.
Just what I want. As long as it's light, putting in my face.
When I was picking the emollients for this project, we wanted something very lightweight that was going to also be compatible with oily skin. So we used squalene, which is a very lightweight barrier nourishing lipid. We also used dimethicone, a 5 centistoke grade. We used cyclopentasiloxane and squalene. Those lightweight emollients, I also knew that Michael loved them because he loves sake bomb from Educated Mess.
I do.
So the reason that I chose those emollients for sake bomb, again, is because they're so lightweight that when you rub the product in, you're getting that intense hydration and nourishment, but it doesn't feel heavy on your skin.
And also, this feels really silky, hydrating, but it still is lightweight. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and you're a chemist and you want a really nice light texture to something, literally do not avoid silicones. Now we're gonna heat the oil phase and melt these waxes and emulsifiers. And then once both phases are about 65 to 70 degrees Celsius, we're gonna add the oil phase to the water phase. And then you're gonna see that milk form.
Wow, it's giving essence for sure.
One way to prevent separation between oil and water phases in a formula is to increase the viscosity with a thickener, because that's gonna kind of help keep everything suspended. But we wanted to do a fluid emulsion. So I'm gonna use a homogenizer, which is gonna get more energy into the system to get the little droplets dispersed throughout a little smaller. It's gonna make the emulsion more stable. And sometimes it's a requirement with some of these fluid emulsifiers. So we're gonna actually take it off of our lightning mixer and we're gonna put it on this homogenizer.
Oh, it's looking really milky.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And we're making milkshake?
I don't know if you can see, but when we homogenized it, it became a lot whiter.
Yeah.
With an emulsion, you've got the oil and waxes, very fine particles dispersed throughout the external water phase, and this just like blends the out of them so that it's tinier droplets, and then it gets whiter.
Wow. That's looking white.
Yes.
It's gonna be white like that?
Milky white.
This is like white milky toner.
Yes.
Oh.
Michael told me he wanted to make a milky toner, and he's surprised we're making a milky toner.
No, but not that white.
Do you want to homogenize it? You want to do the honors?
Meat. I love this.
Chemistry's fun! In formulation, it never really hurts to homogenize an emulsion unless you have a thickener that could suspend air bubbles if it gets aerated.
That is just a little shaking and that's it.
So we are gonna let this cool. Once it reaches like 45, 50 C, we're gonna add the temperature sensitive actives. So one of the actives that we're gonna add for that brightening antioxidant protection is gonna be hexylresorcinol. That exists typically as a powder, but we're using a version from Scythion. The trade name is Essentra SL, but it's caprylic capric triglyceride, ethyl linoleate, and hexylresorcinol.
Frenetzenol, girl, that looks like you are invocating some demon or something.
This is oil soluble, but because it's temperature sensitive, we're not adding it to the oil phase that requires heat. As a chemist, I'm lazy, and I enjoy when suppliers make my life easier. So hexylresorcinol typically needs to be dissolved in something else before added into the main batch in the cool down phase. And there's also sometimes like a risk of crystallization. So we actually used a version of it from Scythion. It's already in the liquid form. So chemists, pro tip, use that, it'll make your life easier. Hexylresorcinol works to like help brighten the skin because of its tyrosinase inhibition. And you know, tyrosinase is the enzyme that catalyzes the conversion from tyrosine to melanin. So we're getting less melanin production, we're getting less excessive hyperpigmentation visibly, and it kind of works by catfishing the enzyme. So tyrosine and hexylresorcinol have a very similar structure at the point that activates the tyrosinase. So it's keeping the tyrosinase busy, so it's not converting tyrosine to melanin. Instead, it's just acting on hexylresorcinol, and then nothing happens.
Wow.
It's similar to how hydroquinone works. They have a similar functional group. So anyway.
This is the things about Alex. She start mentioning all these ingredients, expecting me to understand that. And for the Dominican Republic, I can barely speak Spanish, let alone English, let alone chemistry in language.
When we were planning out this product, Michael mentioned he loved beta-glucan.
Yeah, I did, because it's amazing at soothing your skin, also hydrating your skin. The thing is, hyperpigmentation gets worse when your skin is irritated.
Right.
This is why we're using beta-glucan in this form, because it can reduce the irritation. If our skin is soothed and less irritated, it can reduce a little bit the hyperpigmentation by getting worse.
It can help prevent, yeah, I agree with that. It can help prevent the likelihood of excessive hyperpigmentation.
I agree with the period.
Yeah, so I don't actually have straight beta-glucan, but I have this ingredient. The trade name is Kalerine, but it's a fermented reishi mushroom. It is very soothing and hydrating. It's rich in beta-glucan, and I have seen some really great wound healing results, honestly, with this. It's great for redness. It's a great ingredient. It's one of my favorite ingredients to add for like soothing benefits. So we're gonna add that here to help reduce the likelihood of pigmentation coming from inflammation.
Yep. Oh, that looks so nice.
Michael also mentioned he liked resveratrol.
Yeah, I think. No, I did.
Resveratrol is a great antioxidant, so we're gonna use a fermented version of that that's also been shown to provide brightening benefits.
Because it's like can add a lighter touch to the toner or no?
Yeah, it's gonna make it a little waterier too.
Perfect.
And we're also gonna use a conjugated peptide complex for firming benefits. It might provide some lifting action at a certain level. It is a peptide bound to diamond powder and resveratrol. That whole conjugated complex helps improve the delivery of the peptide into skin.
Anything that brightens my skin, perfect.
That's right. This ingredient is so expensive, but it's so cool.
Yeah, we like diamonds.
So because we're in the lab and the cost of raw materials doesn't matter for this formula because I'm using samples, we're gonna add some ceramides to this as well for additional barrier nourishment, but I don't really like working with straight ceramides. You gotta get them really hot in the oil phase usually, so I wanted to make it easier. We're gonna use this raw material from a supplier called Ebonic. It's called Rheosome Ceraboost. So it contains like cholesterol, phytosphingosine, and ceramides, all of these great barrier nourishing lipids, but they've added lecithin to it to make it water soluble. So this also contains like water and glycerin. You can just add it in at the end in the water phase, no issues with heating it and all of that. Just a lot easier to work with. So we're gonna use this ingredient also for the barrier nourishment. So these are all the ceramides and barrier lipids. Now we're gonna add that to your main batch.
I wonder something, since my formula is really bougie and expensive, how much do you think this will be a retail price?
So with something with hexylresorcinol, fermented resveratrol, ceramides, isosorbate dicaprolate, I would probably charge, oh my God, and because of that peptide, I would probably charge like $105 for this.
Okay.
I would think. I mean, we have got a lot of stuff in here.
This is bougie, baby. This is Cartier.
Oh, I forgot.
The Cartier of Milky toners.
That's right.
Korea who?
Oh my God, feel it. So far, I'm loving the texture as it cools.
Word. Girl.
It feels good, right?
No, that looks really like...
Everything at some point usually does. Like most emulsions.
I don't know why I was smelling that. That was reminding me of other passionate things in my life.
It doesn't smell like it. You're smelling the latex from your glove, which...
Oh, okay.
Those two are...
But I like it.
Yes. We're gonna add some more texturizing ingredients because this is a bit sticky.
That's what I'm about to say. It's like a little bit, it needs to be more watered down.
Yeah.
The thing is about me, I don't like greasy things in my face because I don't want to feel like I'm a French fries. Do I look like my donut to you? Hi, welcome to my donut. But I'm liking it.
You know what I think we should add? I think we should add some cyclopentasiloxane.
Cyclo who?
But that's a volatile silicone, so I don't like using it in a formula above 60, 65 degrees Celsius. So it's kind of perfect that we're doing it now in the cool down phase. We're making adjustments, and of course, when I'm working on a formula for a brand, I wouldn't just manically add things to the end, but we're doing this for fun. I'm leaving my gloves off for this part because we're doing things to change the texture, so I'm gonna be constantly like rubbing them on my hand. And none of these ingredients are actually dangerous for skin, so it's fun.
Okay, perfect. Hi, baby, you are my little girl. No, but for real, that's my baby.
Because we added so many actives that are oil soluble, Michael feels that the product right now is a little greasy in texture, and I couldn't agree more. So one thing I like to add to the formula, if it feels a little greasy sometimes, is polymethylsesquioxane. See what texture that gets?
Silky.
Yeah. So that's what we're adding to
This is using powder for makeup?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll see that in a lot of makeup products.
Because this is how it's feeling. It's giving Givenchy.
We do need to dissolve it in another silicone or oil first. So we're going to use the light one, dimethicone fluid, polymethylsesquioxane. We're going to see if adding a small amount of this is going to give it a better aesthetic texture.
I'm a sweaty little bitch. I have hyperhidrosis, and I need things lightweight in my skin. I don't like heavy things. I don't like feeling greasy or anything like that, but I love a lot of hydration. And that is really hard. Having a lot of hydration with something lightweight is super hard.
Let's add this to yours.
No, that's me, okay.
You like it?
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Now we like it?
Now we like it, yeah. That's what I was looking.
To test the pH, I'm gonna just put them in little things. Mine's 5.6. Right at that pH of skin's barrier.
Wow.
And let's see what yours is. Yours is right there as well.
Oh.
We don't even need to adjust anything. We're gonna let it keep mixing as it cools the rest of the way off, but you, my friend, have just done your first cosmetic product.
Yeah. This is my first Milky toner. It has the perfect watery texture that I'm looking. It's very lightweight, and the texture is divine. This is the texture, literally milky water.
And
look at that. Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, that happens in my lab. But that's the perfect
stay messy, baby.
That's the perfect texture. It feels luxurious. It feels like $100 essence.
It would be.
It technically is.
So you have officially made your first skincare product ever. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. No, I'm joking. It feels really nice because I'm going to the behind the process, and especially because when I have a vision and that vision came to reality. Mwah.
I had so much fun with you in the lab as well. I'm so proud of you.
I think I'm coming back to my
I think you need to come back. You're welcome anytime you want to come. I hope this was educational. I hope it was entertaining. Come back next week to see what we're making and who we're making it with.
Bye.
One of my favorite product types as a cosmetic chemist is a Milky toner essence.
That's a perfect intro.
Okay.
That's a perfect intro.
Okay.
That's one, sorry. Oops.
Yeah.
I like that intro.
Michael, introduce yourself.
Hi. No, I'm joking. Hi. Hello, my name is Michael. Hello, my name is Michael. I moved here in the United States 2 years. Hello, my name is Michael. I moved here. Oh my gosh! I became my licensed teacher because I was tired of people being mean to me, saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. That's it. What else do you want me to tell you? Yikes. What the Come on.
Now we're gonna weigh out the oil-soluble ingredients. Hold on. God. Dude,
need some water, baby?
Why am I out of breath?
I'm intimidating you?
Yeah.
I'm very
scared.
intimidating. For today.
I don't need to say that. No one cares. So this...
Irritation can transform your... Oh, I got lost. Let's reshoot.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good. To help with the texture?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Yeah, you got high with that.